Selko. Here's Mbappé! Oh my word!
Kylian Mbappé, a phenomenon, a champion, a player who arrived in football carrying expectations so enormous that most young talents would have collapsed under the pressure. Yet somehow, he didn't just survive those expectations, he exceeded them. In football, talent alone is never enough. Every generation produces gifted players. Every decade introduces new wonder kids. But only a handful earn something truly special, the respect of their peers. Because players know, they understand football at a level fans never will. They know what it feels like to face elite defenders, perform under pressure, and carry the weight of an entire nation on their shoulders. And when footballers, legends, coaches, and rivals talk about Kylian Mbappé, their words reveal a story far greater than statistics ever could. A story about a player who changed the game before he was old enough to reach his prime, long before the Ballon d'Or debates, long before the World Cup finals, long before becoming one of the most recognizable athletes on the planet. There was simply a young boy from France with a dream that looked impossible. But what separated Mbappé from others wasn't confidence, it wasn't speed, it wasn't even talent, it was belief. The kind of belief that allows a teenager to step onto the biggest stages in football and act as though he belongs there. Most young players need years to adapt, years to learn, years to overcome fear. Mbappé seemed different from the very beginning. When he emerged at Monaco, football immediately noticed the pace. Defenders couldn't catch him, midfielders couldn't track him. Entire defensive lines struggled to understand how someone so young could move with such confidence. But speed alone doesn't create greatness. Football history is filled with fast players who never reached the very top. What made Mbappé different was what happened after he accelerated. His decisions, his intelligence, his composure, his ability to remain calm in moments where others panicked. The faster the game became, the calmer he looked. And that terrified opponents, because once a player combines elite speed with elite decision-making, stopping him becomes almost impossible. Suddenly, coaches were changing tactics, defenders were adjusting positioning, entire teams were preparing differently, not because of a veteran superstar, but because of a teenager. That is how rare Mbappe's rise truly was. Then came the World Cup, the tournament where football's biggest stars are born, the stage where legends are created, and in 2018, Kylian Mbappé introduced himself to the world. Against Argentina, he didn't look like a young player making his World Cup debut. He looked like a man determined to dominate football's greatest stage. Every touch carried confidence. Every run carried danger. Every attack felt like it could change the game. By the end of the tournament, the football world had witnessed something extraordinary. Not simply a talented young player, a future icon. The comparisons began immediately. Some saw traces of Thierry Henry. Others mentioned Ronaldo Nazario. Many believed France had discovered the next global superstar, and perhaps the most remarkable thing was this: Mbappé never seemed intimidated by those comparisons. He welcomed responsibility, he embraced expectations. He understood that greatness demands pressure, and he never ran away from it. As his reputation grew, so did the respect from his rivals. In football, compliments from teammates are expected. Compliments from fans are common, but compliments from opponents carry a different weight. Because opponents experience your greatness firsthand. They chase you, they defend against you, they spend 90 minutes trying to stop you. And many of football's best defenders have described Mbappé as one of the most difficult players they have ever faced. Not because he possesses one unstoppable weapon, but because he possesses many. If defenders give him space, he attacks it instantly. If they stay deep, he becomes creative. If they press aggressively, he escapes. Every solution creates another problem. And that is what separates elite players from great players. Elite players force opponents into impossible choices. Mbappé has been doing that for years. Yet perhaps the most fascinating part of his story isn't his speed or his goals. It's the respect he receives from football's biggest names. Across generations, across leagues, across countries, football legends consistently recognize something special in him. They see ambition. They see a player capable of carrying football into its next era. Because football always searches for its next superstar, the next face of the sport, the next player capable of inspiring millions. For nearly 20 years, the game belonged to Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Two giants who redefined what was possible. Two legends whose dominance felt endless. Many believed football would struggle to replace them. Perhaps it never truly will. But if anyone has come close to inheriting that responsibility, it is Kylian Mbappé. The reason is simple. He doesn't fear the spotlight. He runs toward it. When the stakes are highest, he becomes stronger. When pressure increases, he becomes more dangerous. When expectations grow, he appears more comfortable. That mentality cannot be taught. It cannot be coached. It exists within a player, and Mbappe has demonstrated it repeatedly throughout his career. The 2022 World Cup offered another example. Even on football's biggest stage, even against the strongest opponents, even under unimaginable pressure, Mbappe delivered. Goals, moments, performances, the kind that become part of football history, the kind future generations will watch for decades. And perhaps that is why so many legends speak about him with admiration, because they recognize something familiar: the hunger, the obsession, the relentless pursuit of greatness. Every legendary player possesses it, and Mbappe is no exception. But football is about more than trophies, more than goals, more than individual brilliance. Eventually, every great player is judged by legacy. What did they leave behind? How did they change the game? How did they inspire others? For Mbappe, that story is still being written. His greatest achievements may still lie ahead. His biggest victories may still be waiting. His most iconic moments may not have happened yet, and that is what makes his journey so fascinating. We are not looking back at a completed career. We are watching history unfold in real time. Every season adds another chapter. Every tournament creates another opportunity. Every challenge presents another chance to prove himself. Some players spend their careers chasing greatness, others seem destined for it. Kylian Mbappé belongs in the second category. A player whose talent was obvious, a player whose mentality was exceptional, a player whose impact extends far beyond the football pitch. And when footballers are asked about Kylian Mbappé, their answers reveal something remarkable. Not admiration for potential, not admiration for promise, admiration for reality. Because they are witnessing greatness now. Not someday, not in the future. Today, the respect is already there. From teammates, from rivals, from coaches, from legends, and perhaps that is the greatest compliment any footballer can receive. Because records can be broken, trophies can be won by others, but earning the respect of football's greatest minds, that lasts forever. This is Kylian Mbappé, a player defined by speed, driven by ambition, built for greatness and still writing his story. The question is no longer whether he will become a football legend. The question is how high his legacy will rise before the final chapter is written.